Hey, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everyone. How's it going today? Hope I see all the familiar faces as I usually do. And hopefully we don't have any interruptions today either, because, man, I am so tired of running around. Yo, what's up, Shane? Shane, you want to know what I did all last night? All last night after I got back from the fire academy. It was like one of those side quests. I literally went on ChatGPT. I was not planning for this, and I created my own Twitch bot, like from scratch. Like it's its own thing. It's its own proprietary software or bot, I want to say. So, like, it's up and running right now. Like, I can do this. Status. And that's the bot. Oh, what kind of camera did you buy? You went with a Sony. What made you go with Sony? Out of curiosity. I'm also going to play this at the same time, because we were talking about it yesterday and I just really wanted to revisit this documentary. Come on. I'm looking at the Sony right now. Interchangeable lens. Now, the one thing about going with a Sony is you would have, like, for all those lenses I recommended, you have to get a special adapter, because this is an E-mount. Here, let me actually change the window here, so that way you can see what I'm seeing. So you see this right here? It says, God dang it, I got so many windows up. Couple of videos I watched talking about mirrorless versus DSLR, and the camera industry is switching more towards mirrorless. Yeah, that's true. It's definitely going to help you as far as, like, if you say you take pictures, okay? It's not going to, I don't think you're going to hear that clicking noise. It's just going to be silent. The one thing about mirrorless lens is the battery life, because they use so much power that you have to, like, have a lot of batteries to go along with it. But as long as you have an adapter for your E-mount, you could still use the lenses I recommended. Otherwise, you would just have to go with a lot of proprietary lenses with Sony exclusively. That's like the biggest downfall. I like the Canon, but the jump in price on the Canon side for a 4K was larger than Sony. Also like the compact look of Sony. And that's great, man. I'm glad you're like exploring your options here. And this also has a viewfinder that pops out, so that's also really good. One other thing I want to forewarn you about Sony's, though, is their user interface, like their menu settings, I heard, are a nightmare. So just be careful, because there's a lot of finessing you have to go through when you go into this menu. It could be, like, very confusing from what I understand. But Sony's are good. Like, I'm not dissing Sony. Sony is actually one of my top brands. I love Sony products. They're expensive. I'm forewarning you right now. Sony is, like, definitely more on the expensive end. I need to also Let me see here. Sony lenses. I'm curious what these look like. So E-mounts, 28 millimeter. Just curious how much these cost for an f-stop of 2. Like, you remember that lens I showed you like the other day, like the 28 millimeter? That was at a better f-stop than this. This is an f-stop of 2. The one I have is 1.8. This one is like almost $120 more than the one I have. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try to worry about, because you're going to be running into a little bit more inflated prices with Sony. But if you don't care about that, then have fun. That's all I have to say. I enjoyed the challenge of learning new tech, so it should be fun. Yeah, dude, it's going to be fun regardless. It's going to be super fun. I can already tell. I need to get back into here. Why is this like all screwy? Okay. Yeah, let's move. We'll go back to this guy. I picked up a lens like $150 off eBay with an f-stop of 1.4. Which lens did you get? Sigma 16 millimeter. That's pretty wide, dude. That's a pretty wide lens. Are you sure you want to do 16 millimeter? Sigma 1.4. I'm looking at it right now. Just checking it out. Yeah, I see like a new Sigma 16 millimeter is like $410. So if you got it that for $110, that's pretty awesome. Good. I could show you what a fisheye lens looks like. Honestly, you got it for $290, so you got it for $100 off. See, I told you could find some decent deals. Let me show you the fisheye lens. The fisheye lens is at like I think 10 millimeter. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I have it in my camera case, which is in here. Lock my closet because the cats open it and then they're all in there messing with stuff. Alright, so where are we at? That's a 40. That's this. Damn, where's my 10 millimeter at? Oh, there. No, that's... Yeah, that's it. This is it. Look at this. This is it. This is a Sigma 10 millimeter 2.8 fisheye. This thing's a boss. But I'm gonna switch. Hold on, it's gonna get a little bright. I'm gone. Where am I? Where did he go? So you know what you could do? Now that Peregrine bot is a thing, type in !, add video, and then that will automatically throw it on my YouTube playlist. See if that works. So that's my fisheye. How cool is that? You can see that my room isn't a complete mess. Isn't that cool? I did that. I programmed that bot. Yeah, so now if you watch the bottom left hand corner, I can go to my playlist. Let me see if I can pull it up. Playlists, streaming, and now here it is. Dude, that's so awesome. Yeah, the fisheye, like, it's a different vibe for sure, but I don't think I would use it for streaming. But it's definitely like a fun, it's definitely a fun angle. And your lens it would be at 16, so it's like going to be a little bit tighter. So just imagine everything squeezing down to probably around here, I'd say. Like, yeah, this is like where your focal length would be as far as a 16 millimeter. A little tighter, but it's not as tight. I'll also show you what well, you can see I'm in my pajamas. With the 28 millimeter, you don't see me in my pajamas, but now you see me in my pajamas. All right, so we'll go over a few lenses. This is actually fun. All right, so this guy right here is my 50 millimeter. This is my prized possession right here. This is my 28 that I use regularly for streaming, and this guy I never have used yet, but this is a 40 millimeter. I have not used this 40 millimeter just yet, but what is this? 40 millimeter. I don't even see the f-stop on it. It's probably hidden somewhere. 2.8. So it's not the greatest, but it'll have its purpose in some places. So let me take this off. It's going to be bright. All right, hold on. Okay, this is the 50 millimeter. I'm definitely, like, the one thing about the 50 is it's definitely going to be tighter. It's going to be tighter on my face. I don't think I would use this for streaming. And another thing you have to do is, like, this is why it's nice to have someone do it for you, but I have to focus manually. But yeah, I have to be like down here, and in order to actually see me, like, I kind of have to step back a little bit. So the 50 millimeter, it's yeah. So maybe like I'm excited to see. Oh, now I have to fix my hair because it's like really emphasizing what I look like right now. But you can see that there's like all these differences. Where's my... Oh, in my last lens, yeah, I don't know if that Sony has a full frame, but if you have a full frame sensor, you definitely want, I mean, you're going to be paying a little bit more, but full frame sensors are where it's at. Okay. Right. I mean, it's nice to have a zoomed lens compared to a prime lens or a fixed lens, they call it. There's a lot of terminology. This is my 24-70. This is my baby too. I need to take off the ND filter because it's a little dark. Jesus, it sounds like it's just going to be a fire call. Okay, so this is 24 millimeter technically. 24 millimeter is like actually pretty comfortable, I would say. Like I could keep this lens on here. I could keep my 24-70 on here, and it probably would be perfectly fine. And if I want to zoom in, I can. Now it's at 70 millimeters. And now you could just see like how ridiculous, like man, I need to lose weight. But you can see how like far in that is. And you have to think like, how far is my camera going to be? Let me see if I could find like 28 millimeter. So this is 28. So this is where my primed lens, or my prime lens would be typically. It looks very familiar, right? Now, if I go down up to, like, I think this is 35. This is what 35 looks like. 35's getting a little, you know, it's getting a little more intimate. So, yeah. 24 looks good. 24 looks good. And another thing is, here I'll show you what the camera looks like when it's just the camera. Like I have all these overlays and stuff, but this is what the camera looks like. Hold on. You get rid of this. And it's actually pretty decent. You can see everything. I can't see anything, my overlays. I don't have my chat or anything on the side. But that looks pretty decent as far as, you know, not making it too uncomfortable. I don't think 16 is going to be too bad. And another thing about the 16, as long as you're filming in 4K, you can crop it down, you know, so without losing too much quality. I just personally like it, the 24 to 28 range, but it's still wide. I wouldn't go as wide as a fisheye, like a 10 millimeter. Let me go back to the 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter is fun to work with. And you know what's funny is like all this is like, these are these lenses cost more than my camera, you know, after some time. The amount of investment that I've had to make. I love that. I love that transition. It's like I should start that as the intro to the stream. It's like, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. And then there's this cap on here that I could take off like this. And you can actually see the whole picture. So now you can see like not all of my desk is like completely is completely clutter free. I got my fruit and stuff here. And you could also see like I have 3 monitors, like it's actually showing. Yeah, the 10 millimeter is a little much, right? There's a little too much being exposed there. But I love using it, especially for weddings. I think I'll show you. Let me go back to here. And I don't know if I have any of these projects up just yet. Let me see. Actually, I'll just go into the raw footage. I'll show you that way. Let's see. I was also thinking about using the gym for videos, and 16 seems like a good distance to capture everything. Yeah, man. I think 16 is good. I don't think 16 is going to be bad. I had to see it for myself, but I think it's going to be pretty solid. I think you're making some very wise decisions. Like you're not just like buying a lens because you heard it was a good lens to buy. You're buying it based on your needs, and that's the most important thing. Okay, so this is what. Let me try to get the monitor up. Middle. Need to be up here. No. Hold on a minute while I finagle this thing. There we go. Okay, so this is a wedding I filmed. That video I added was a guy using it on a Sony. Okay, I'll check it out. Oh God, that's loud. Jesus. So this is what the fisheye lens looks like. When I'm actually filming. You can see there's like, whenever you're filming with a lower focal length, especially with a 10 millimeter, the picture's going to be distorted, you know, literally like how a fisheye would, like a fish's eye would look. But for certain shots, especially like this, you want to capture like a wide environment, like with a lot of people. You want to get the whole image. Yeah, a 10 millimeter would be great here. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand and we'll make it, I swear. All right, let's get Bon Jovi out of here, and I'm gonna put all this stuff back. It's like show and tell, you know? All right, I'm putting you guys away. Bye. Bye. It's so funny. What size storage do I use? So, what do you mean by storage? Like on the camera itself, or like my hard drives? I want to test camera. Oh, camera storage. So it depends. If you're using 4K, I don't know if that's Sony. I'm testing out this lens real quick. I never use it, so I just want to see what it does, what it's like. This is a 40 millimeter. A little too intimate, you know. Come on. What do I use? I guess it should be worth noting what I use. Where my camera has... No, I have my memory cards right here. So these are a lot of money, but they're called CFast cards. I have one that is... I think 64 gigabyte. No, 256 gigs. And I think I have one that is either a half a terabyte or a whole terabyte. I can't remember. I think it's a half a terabyte. So 500 and what is it? 570 something? I can't remember. But anyway, that's how high it probably will be. Let me see if that camera you showed me, what is it, the A6400? Let me see what kind of storage it uses. Not typically do they use, I don't see a lot of CFast, unless you're using something like my camera, but I don't know. Each camera has its own personality almost. So let me take a look here. Where is specs? Okay. At a glance, drive, exposure, flash. Yeah, where's memory at? Recording format, image size. Okay, that's almost cinema grade quality. Almost. I mean, you could still, I shouldn't say quality, I should say resolution, because people conflate quality with resolution and they're not the same. Quality is like you can buy like a shitty GoPro or a shitty Chinese camera, okay, and it will say 4K on it, but it's terrible. Like, it has a terrible built-in lens, and this is why I say lenses are everything. And if it can't operate in the dark too well, if it's going to give you a grainy picture, you're going to get a 4K resolution image of grain. You know, that's why having a camera that has like a high ISO, and you have like a very good variable lens, that's where it really counts. I'm just I'm sure that's something you already know, or you already understand at this point, but it's worth mentioning for other people. Let me see. I don't know where this says memory at. Storage, memory stick pro, memory stick micro, SD card, SDHC, SDXC, micro SD. Okay, what are memory stick pros? So it doesn't. These don't use CFast, but I'm just taking a look. Memory stick. Everything has to have its own, like, so I don't want to shit on Sony too much, because they do make good stuff. It's just they have so much proprietary shit that you have to kind of learn all these new hardware mechanics. Goddamn Japanese. Can't just stick with one thing. So you would probably get one of these guys, these memory sticks, but you have to make sure, like, not all memory sticks are the same, or not all memory cards are built the same. So you should, if you're going to be filming in 4K, your camera is going to demand a memory card that's going to be able to keep up with it. So imagine you have a guy who's recording everything you say by hand, okay? And you're talking at a normal pace. He's able to record what you're saying at a normal pace. But now imagine you start talking faster. He has to write that down faster, and it's eventually not going to be as as efficient as it was whenever you were talking slower. So what you have to make sure of is you have a supercomputer. You have a guy that's able to write tremendously fast while you're talking fast. The camera's the talker, the memory card is the receiver. And you'll notice on these memory cards there's a read-write speed usually indicated on the memory cards. So just make sure you keep your eyes peeled. The higher that read-write speed, the better. You could start with the 64. I mean, yeah, Extreme Pro should be okay, but it's worth testing out regardless. I don't know if it's going to hold up, but I think it will be fine. 64 gigs is really low though, so don't expect it to get a lot of footage. So what I'll tell you is 64 gigs is anywhere between like 40 to 60 minutes if you're filming in 4K, I think. Because let me show you, let me go back to my, what do you call it? My raw footage. What are you doing over there? Get out of there. This cat, I tell you, man, he's like, it's not even my cat. It's just this cat I'm fostering, and he gets into everything. It's so obnoxious. So look how big these files are, okay? That one's exceptionally big because it's more or less, let me see what this is. Yeah, that's just really big. That's like 200 gigs. So this is a third. Let me find one that's like 1 gig. Okay, so this is like about 1 gigabyte. And this is about 1 gigabyte of footage. So let me look at the time code. 2952, 3056. So this clip is about a minute, and it was about 1 gig. So gym clips would be like 30 to 45 seconds, like roughly 10 clips, maybe a couple more. So yeah, you're looking at around 10 to 15 gigs, I'd say, of storage being used for your memory card. You should be fine. And if you start streaming, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about I'm just swapping my lens out again. There we go. Back to the 28. So if you start streaming, you don't have to worry about memory cards. Like, it's all just live. My video is at 4K right now. I could film at 6K if I really wanted to. Let me see what that looks like. Let me see if I could adjust that from my phone. Look into that too. See if there's an app. Oh yeah. That video was at 4K. Yeah, this is definitely at 4K. I film everything at 4K. Now, if you go down to 1080p though, you're saving 75% of your storage. So instead of it being 1 gig per minute, you're looking more like 250 gigs or 250 megs per minute, which is a drastic difference, you know. Yeah. That's a good rule of thumb. Is about like 1 gig per minute. All right, let me get out of my monitor because I feel like I'm just going to accidentally share sensitive information that I don't want to do. I'm looking at Yeah, this is another. I don't know if I already brought this up, but look into look into Sony and see if they have any apps that you can remotely control your camera from. Because say, for example, you're taking, you're taking a shot from a distance and you don't want to go all the way back to your phone or to your camera to adjust it. You could just go on your phone and be like, okay, that looks good. Like I can actually see what's going on from here. I'm looking at my resolutions here right now. This is my 6K, right? Yeah, this is a 6K. So hold on one sec. Is this doing anything? I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't think it really is doing anything. Bluetooth controllers. The 6K camera, for some weird reason, is definitely weirder with this app. With my 4K camera, I can actually see what the camera is doing. I use the 6K camera more as it's ironic. I think the 6K camera is actually older than my 4K camera, so there are some features that aren't available. But I don't use my 6K camera as my default camera when I'm out and about filming. I actually use my 4K camera because it's definitely more dependable. I don't know why that is. I think I need to turn my ISO down though, because I'm really high. Not like that, but hey Google, set light strip to 60%. Ooh, that's bright. Yeah, so since I turned my ISO down, I'm turning my lights up and it gives me more quality. So what I'm adjusting here is ISO. This is another fun thing to know about. So the more I adjust my ISO, I don't know if you can see it, but the quality of the image looks worse. Like you're looking at a shot that might be grainy compared to, like, let me actually make this very low light. So hey Google, set light strip to 10%. We're gonna do a quick video lesson. So see how it's like it's a very low light environment. Say you don't have any light to help you increase your image. So you're like, ISO is kind of your last resort as far as enhancing your image. You don't want to mess with the ISO immediately, but it's a lifesaver in case you are in a low light situation. So let me actually turn the light off. Hey Google, turn off light strip. Okay, so now I have no light. If I turn my ISO all the way up, there's the magic of a high ISO. And if I turn it all the way up, don't turn that up, Google. Hey Google, turn off light strip. I look angelic now. I hate that thing so much. I can't wait to get rid of it. And it listens to everything I do. So the problem with using ISO, like I said, you can now tell that the image is like it's not as high of quality. You're starting to see some film grain there because the brain of the camera is working harder to generate an image for you. So now I'm going to bring it back down to 100. I'm going to see how high I can turn my light on. Hey Google, set light strip to 100%. So this is my light at 100%. This is full bright, and it's painful for me because you guys can't see how bright it actually is. But at this point, I do have to turn my ISO up, because if I don't, it's just going to be a bad time with the image. So you kind of have to find a good balance between what is good for the shot, yet you just have to find a balance of what is good for the shot versus what you can do conveniently. I'll need a review of this once the camera comes in. Of course. There's probably 3 things you want to understand when it all comes back to lenses, okay? 3 things to understand. You got your ISO. Really easy concept. It's basically the camera's sensor adjusting the brightness for you, okay? It is basically digitally enhancing the brightness. You want to try to avoid it, though, as much as you can. Second is the iris. So the focal length, and not the focal length, the f-stop. The f-stop also affects it. So right now I'm adjusting the lens. This is the lens working. This is not the ISO. Basically what is happening is I'm opening my lens all the way. Like, it's basically like I think our pupils, you know how our pupils dilate and constrict? This is that function. So right now, the pupil of my lens is all the way open. So it's letting in as much light as possible, and it's not inhibiting anything. Now, say if you're in a really bright environment and your ISO is all the way down, yet it's still really bright, you can adjust your iris all the way up. Like, this is what I even turned the ISO up just so you can see what it looks like. But this is with the iris completely constricted. It's hardly letting any light in. And like I said, it really is dependent on what you are filming. If you're outside and it's a super bright day, or for some weird reason you're at a construction site and the lights are shining all around you, you want to adjust this as well. But let me get back to normal here. It's fun actually doing this on my phone, though. It's fun, like, being able to adjust my camera without me being behind my camera. And then the third thing to understand is your shutter. Okay? In filmmaking or videography, you don't have to worry about shutter speed as much as you would in photography. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Usually, whenever you have, whenever you're setting up your camera for the first time, I personally always film in 24 frames per second, because that's the cinema standard, is 24 frames per second. It's like it's the truest. It's the frame rate that is consistent with how us humans see things, almost. So when it comes to filming, I would recommend either 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. Now, based on those frame rates, your shutter speed should be double the frame rate. So, for example, my shutter right now is 1/48th of what it is. So, I hate talking about shutter speeds because it kind of can get confusing. You have to, like, think kind of backwards. So the faster your shutter, okay, my shutter is super fast. Like, right now it's at 1/24th. the closer it is to 1, okay, closer the ratio is to 1, the faster your shutter is going to be. So look at this. This is me moving my hand with a shutter of 1/24. Basically, your shutter is affecting how your camera is capturing motion and light. So if you ever see like those, hold on, I'll actually just show you. Time lapse. Open shutter traffic photos. I don't think it's like, so these photos, all right? A photo like that has a complete open shutter. So if your shutter is like closer to 1, rather than like an extreme fraction, like 1/1000th, okay, you're going to be able to generate images like this with a photography camera. In filmmaking, I think the best thing I can describe, like those shots in movies where like someone's drunk and it's like the camera's like all over the place, you're bumping into everything and it seems like things are stuttering a bit. That's a result of manipulating the shutter speed. But but you don't use that all the time. You're never going to use that all the time. You like, that's a very stylistic form of filmmaking. So a good rule of thumb, if you're filming in 24 frames per second, set your shutter to 1/48. Okay, so it looks like it's doubled the amount, but it's actually like lowering your shutter. I think, yeah, it's slowing your shutter speed down. Okay, yeah, that's how I have to think. Again, it's backwards. So right now I'm at 1/48, and if you're going to be at 30 frames per second, what do you think it's going to be? It's going to be 60 frames. I'm sorry, 1/60th of the shutter. Now this is my shutter speed being really slow. It's at 1/2000th. So look at the movement, okay? This is at 1/2000th. You see how you don't see any motion blur? Now if I go all the way back down, but turn my ISO, I have to turn my ISO down too, you're going to see motion blur. Isn't that cool? Isn't that a cool concept? All right, we're gonna do it again because I think it's just fun to, I don't do this every day, so it's just fun to see how it affects. This is the shutter when it's running. I need to remember, is this faster or is this slower? If the number's bigger, is it faster or is it slower? I think it's faster. I'm telling you right now, like, I'm not the only one that gets tripped up with shutter speed. But all I will say is it's either faster or slower. Those are the two words. I'll have to look it up again. But yeah, see how like you don't see any motion blur, so it kind of looks weird. It does, like, especially for sports. For sports, it's probably okay to have a faster or slower shutter. But things aren't going to look as natural, because even to us, if you just like look through your own eyes for a second, you see motion blur. If you don't see any motion blur with what you're filming, it just looks off-putting, you know? Now let me go to the lowest shutter I can go. Yeah, so this is, again, back to the lowest shutter speed I can do on my cinema camera. If you go onto a photography camera, though, and try to film, you could probably even go slower than this. Yeah. I'm assuming it's slower because it's not capturing the motion as fast. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah. I can probably do some wiggling around. Like, you can see me wiggling around, and it kind of has that drunk haziness to it. But I'm going to move it back up to... I would do 148, but it's only giving me the option to do 150. But I can... This looks perfect. This doesn't look like it's too much motion blur. This doesn't look like it's too less motion blur. It kind of looks natural. So that's why it's a rule of thumb to do that. Like, this is where it's supposed to be, at the 150th. And some cameras are weird. Like, my camera will have a different way of interpreting or telling you how the shutter speed is what do you call it? How it's going to be adjusted. For my camera, it either does it in degrees or it does it in the normal shutter format, like in a fraction format, like the 1/60th. So I highly recommend, if your camera tells you like things in degrees when you're with your shutter speed, avoid that like the plague and try to adjust it back to the fractions, because it just makes more sense to me personally. Like, you can, if you like it that way, fine, but if it's just for consistency's sake, I would keep the fractions 100%. Okay, that was a lot of talking. And I had to make sure my camera, like, I have everything all jacked up on this camera now, so let me see if I can have to adjust anything further. I'll just turn the ISO up a little bit. That's perfect. Okay, so today I was wanting to get this project done. And it's weird, I don't have as, like, I think Wednesdays are like the sweet spot for gathering an audience, honestly, because yesterday I had like 12 viewers and now I'm just down to like 2. So I'll have to make Wednesday like a priority day to stream. For curiosity's sake, let me watch this video, the one that you showed me. But anyway, Shane, before we continue, those are the 3 things you have to remember, like, especially when it comes to your lens and your camera. Okay, and you remember, try to remember them: your ISO, your aperture, like basically your pupil of your lens, and your shutter speed. That is something called, it's like some sort of triangle. I can't remember what the triangle is called exactly. I'm so bad with like jargon, with some people pick up on like all these terminologies. I look at something and I look at the mechanics and I just call it that thingy, I know what that thingy does, but I'm not good at telling you I'm not good at explaining the engineering behind it, if that makes sense. Like, for example, at the Fire Academy yesterday, we learned something called the fire tetrahedron. Okay? And I'll remember this to a good degree. But basically, these are all the things that fuel, these are all the things that make up a fire. Okay, you got fuel, you got oxygen, you got heat. So I will remember that these three things are what causes the chemical reaction that creates a fire. If one of these are gone, then the fire does not exist, you know? So this is called the fire tetrahedron. I don't remember this as the fire tetrahedron. I probably will now because I'm making fun of it. But like if I go out into the world and someone just says, "Hey, you remember," like let's just say it's a year or 5 years from now, and someone's like, "Hey, you know about the fire tetrahedron, right?" I'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about." I won't remember that specific nomenclature. I won't remember that specific vocabulary. But like I said, now that I'm making fun of it, I probably will remember it. And I actually was looking at the word fire tetrahedron last night, and I was thinking, dude, that sounds like an epic video game boss. Okay, so I went on ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT if the fire tetrahedron was a video game boss, what would it look like? This is what it generated for me. Dude, that looks so badass. It looks so futuristic and ominous. Can you imagine fighting that thing? You would have to either cut the fuel, the oxygen, or what's the other one? Or the heat. The fire tetrahedron. I love that boss name. I will actually save this for whatever future video game project I want to work on, and this will be the boss, one of the bosses. It'll be epic. It'll probably be like the first one of the first 5 bosses that you have to face. Not too hard, but it's definitely one of those like funny ones that have like a double entendre to it. Like think of it, fire tetrahedron. Like it has such a long name to it. And tetrahedron, I think tetrahedron just basically means what we all think. It means this, the Triforce. That I think the Triforce is technically a tetrahedron. I used to draw tetrahedrons all the time. If that's the case. A tetrahedron looks more three-dimensional, I guess. Dude, that looks like what do you call it? One of those dungeons, like the Dungeons and Dragons dice. Yeah, that's what this is. So a tetrahedron is basically a Dungeons and Dragons die. Yeah, so that makes sense. Wow. Oh, man, I'm rambling. Absolutely rambling. I'm a rambling old man right now. You did have a question. Like I remember you texted me earlier yesterday or late last night, and you said you had a few questions or something. Like your sister got a hold of you or something. What did you say exactly? Hold on a minute. What did you say? Oh, you didn't text me. You were on Discord. You do have my number though, so you can text me whenever. Oh, girlfriend, sister, she's taking her first shoot for a wedding. Okay, so what kind of questions does she have? Does she have Twitch? Because I can answer them on here. If she wants to talk or chat. Tell her she needs to. Tell her I need to get... Oh, don't let her know this, but I want my follower count to go up. So she should. Tell her this is the best way for her to learn. Putting all my lenses back in working order. All right. What software I use for photos? For photos, I literally use, like, I have a Mac, like my MacBook Pro. I just use the Photos app on there because I'm not like a full-fledged photographer. You know, it's so easy to conflate videography with photography, but it's like completely different worlds when it comes to software. So I don't know like what would be the best software for photography, but I do know that a lot of people use like Adobe software. I would tell her to start simple. I think if she has like a Mac, tell her to use Photos starting out just to kind of understand the concept of like brightness, contrast, all these things. If she wants to, like, this is what I use for video editing, and DaVinci Resolve is actually a pretty decent, you know, it kind of has like this very decent color and what do you call it? Color grading feature. Like, it's very hands-on. It gives you all the bells and whistles. So if she wants to look into DaVinci Resolve as a possible software for that, she can. I just don't know if it's going to be conducive for photography long run, but it could definitely co-op with videography for sure. Hold on, let me get this fixed. Okay, let's go into here. I think it's Adobe Lightroom. I'm like very anti-Adobe anymore. Okay. Yeah, so she already has the understanding of what to do. Like, Lightroom is like the industry standard. I am not for Adobe products whatsoever. I actually despise Adobe because they're like vultures. And I know not everybody like is going to agree with this, but the fact they will charge you $30 to $50 a month for their packages, and then their apps hardly get any bug fixes. So if they crash, you're at risk of losing your work. And it just seems like they're at this point, Adobe seems more like just an easy passive income for people who own the app, and then people who truly care about maintaining it, if that makes sense. And now that I have a little bit of I'm not like this crazy developer. Please, like, if you're watching this and you think I'm like so smart that I made a bot, I'm not that smart. I just told ChatGPT, hey, how can I have this bot do what I wanted to do here? And it just made the code for me. If I didn't do that though, if I tried learning how to program and develop that bot from scratch, it would have took me weeks, if not months, to actually develop it, because then I would have had to learn everything from scratch. But these people who own Adobe clearly have the resources and the money to make their apps efficient, yet they give you this shitty product that is going to crash on you because of bugs and all these extra issues. And they're not, I just feel like they're not listening to the end users. So hold on, let me just type in on YouTube why Adobe is terrible anymore. Why Adobe is bad. Look at this. That's funny. This is crazy. I haven't watched this. But it's like the first thing that popped. Yeah, I'm telling you, Adobe is evil. I hate Adobe. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks this. Dude, they're like sharks. Any opportunity that they get, they'll try to squeeze the living money out of your wallet. Yeah. Exactly. You were good to go. But now there's a paywall. Old Adobe was goated. But now new Adobe is just, like I said, it's just a bunch of people who make it easy to make a passive income. But they don't have any skills. They don't have any talent. They just know how to milk it as long as they can. Yes. I'm just going to make the picture-in-picture bigger here. Yeah, that's bullshit. I'm not going to tell people to pirate. I'm not going to tell you to pirate. I'm not going to tell you to pirate Adobe. You should do the best for your creativity, is all I'm going to say. But I'm not telling you to pirate Adobe. Yeah, exactly. That is crazy. That is crazy. And this is the thing. If they try charging me that, I'm not coming back. I will actually dispute that charge with my bank. And I'll ensure that they can't get any of those funds. That's the thing. Like, people don't realize you can call up your bank and say, hey, block all payments from this certain vendor. I don't care if I can't use their software anymore, but I do care that they're taking the money out of my bank. Yeah, it is. It is greed. Boo. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just their get rich quick scheme, and it's predatory to talented individuals who just want to, yeah, of course. No, yeah, okay. Which has given them, exactly, because because they probably have it under a separate accounting, like they have it under separate accounting. It might be 1%, less than 1% of revenue in an aspect, but that's a play on words. There's probably something happening where they're actually making a lot of money behind it regardless. What are you saying? Do you use your Blackmagic for photos or a different camera? I actually, the Blackmagic design camera is strictly for videos. So strictly for not photography, for videography / cinematography. I can't, honestly, you can do freeze frames. It's not photos, they're freeze frames. So you can take a picture and like just freeze it. But let me get my T7 real quick. I can't believe how many cameras I have. It's unbelievable. All right, so my T7, I think the biggest thing, like, unlike my, well, actually, I have my other Blackmagic. Hold on, let me pull it up. Get this shit all cleaned up. These cats absolutely driving me nuts. All this shit over. Okay. Alright, so this is my Blackmagic right here. Let's see if I can. This guy is the one I use for my actual weddings that I film. So look at this guy. That's the Blackmagic. Okay, look at the viewfinder on the back. That thing's massive. This is my T7. Much smaller. Much simpler too. But anyway, if I turn this on, hopefully the batteries aren't dead. They're probably dead. Hold on. got batteries. Got so many batteries. I can make sure these things are always getting charged. Okay, and then this one. Put that in. All right. Just need to plug this in real fast. So my Blackmagic actually has like this extended battery pack, because the battery, if it was just one battery, it would die really quickly. Anyway, this is what the Blackmagic looks like on its screen. There's a button here, has like a little camera right here. If I press that, it'll take it'll capture the image. Let me see if you can see me. Yeah, there's me. Okay. It'll capture the image, but it won't tell you immediately what that image looks like. So you press that button, okay, it captured that freeze frame. So that's not too helpful in the photography world, because you need to know what your photos are looking almost instantly with your camera. So say, for example, I get my T7 now, and I take a picture with the T7. What are you doing over there? Get out of that stuff. I swear this cat just loves to mess with my shit. It's like, dude, I just cleaned that up, and now you're fucking it all up. What is wrong with you? I can't stand this cat. I just wish, like, the owner wasn't homeless. Like, I'm trying so hard. But anyway, it will automatically show you what your photos are looking like as soon as you take the picture. Come on, take the picture. Force the picture. Okay, so you see that? Like, that's the still of the photo. So that's what's great about having a photography camera. Get off of that! I swear to God. I know I shouldn't be yelling, but this goddamn cat. And it's not like I could just throw him out the door. I'm not doing that. That's terrible. You know? Alright, let me, I need to work on what I've been planning on working on, and it was this. But does that make sense, though, to you, Shane? Did that cover a lot of what you wanted to know? Good. Good. Let me try to fix this up. This should not be like this. There we go. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. I need to take this cat and put it in a different room because he's driving me nuts. One sec.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
More paste, steak, and chunky salsa. Here. This ain't paste thick and chunky salsa. Well, woo, doggies.
Paste is made with big chunks of tomatoes, onions, and peppers.
Perfect for dipping.
By folks in San Antonio.
Who know what salsa should taste like. Well, this stuff's made in New York City.
New York City!
Jake, it's time you switch brands.
Pick up the thick and chunky one. Pick up the pace.
Always comes out at night. He always wears black. They say he's a vampire. We'll get proof. Check the equipment.
Only Freedom Zooms have Minolta's unique quad element system for the sharpest pictures possible.
He's coming!
And when you don't want to get near the picture, Freedom 70C zooms the picture to you.
He's not a vampire. He's an umpire.
Surprise your family with the best. Season's greetings from Minolta.
Boom! Dinner baskets at Burger King. It's a new concept. You gotta check it out. You get a choice of French fries or a baked potato. And a choice of a slaw or a salad. Only at Burger King. 4 to 8 where you get the table service. It's your way, right away. I love this place.
Chi-Chi's presents The Legend of El Grande, a dinner of grand proportions featuring the magnificent El Grande Burro, delicious nachos grande, and our famous fried ice cream. Chi-Chi's El Grande dinner, just $7.99, with a deal this daring. The legend lives on.
Chi-Chi's, a celebration of food.
If you were colorblind and had an IQ less than 12, then you wouldn't care which portable you had. Of course, you wouldn't care if you drank from the toilet either. Game Gear.
Go behind the scenes with Macaulay Culkin and get a sneak peek at the movie everyone's been waiting for. The Making of Home Alone 2, Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
Damon Wayans returns as Handyman.
I'm back!
And Sunday, he's taking on the evil Dr. Naughty.
Let's get busy!
This time, he's in for the fight of his life.
Whoa, that's gotta hurt.
In living color.
Had enough?
An all-new episode Sunday on Fox.
Wendy, how's dinner coming?
Dad, it's gonna be another 20 minutes.
There are times you're so hungry.
I'm gonna go for a walk.
Only a trip to Wendy's will do.
Big and classic, please.
Hungry, huh?
Introducing our biggest classic.
All right, I'm back. Jesus Christ, that cat. Had to like pull him out from under the bed so that way he didn't stay in here. My door's locked now, and oh man, he's like I'm fostering him because he his owner went homeless or has become homeless, and like I said to her, I'll take care of your cat for a little bit because is he gonna open a door? No, I shut my door. I should say I shut my door. I didn't lock my door. But I'm fostering him because his owner has become homeless, and she found a place. She's getting she's moving in today, but he when I found him, he had like infections in both of his eyes. I had to go to the vet. I spent like $200 on this cat I don't even own. And he's just like, I think he's a product of incest. I'm not even kidding you. This cat is probably a product of incest, so he's a little like mentally deranged. And I hate saying that, but the conditions that she found this cat, all the cats were in like this alleyway breeding with each other, and they all had this conjunctivitis in their eye, and apparently that is very common with cats that are inbred. So they're slightly, like, to say this without like offending anyone, they are like pretty retarded, like in the most literal way I can put that, say that word. But like it's apparent with so many of the behaviors of the cat, like it will not clean up, like it won't like hide its poop in the kitty litter. Like my cat is always clean. He always covers his poop. This cat just doesn't understand that. He just always hold on a minute. Make sure I take care of this guy real quick. Damn spam bots. But he just does things like he's like a super friendly cat, but he's very mischievous, and honestly, I think it really like coincides with that retardation kind of factor. But he's a lovable cat. It's just it's a completely different personality than what I'm dealing with. Like, it requires a lot of patience to own this cat, and a lot of care too. And considering it's not like he's also unneutered, which causes a lot more of problematic behaviors. But this cat will get into everything. If I'm not home, okay, my cat knows not to jump on the counters. Like, I trained my cat, and he's great. But this cat will jump in the counters. He'll open the cupboards, and he'll find the treats that I have all the way on the top shelf. He'll go in there, slap them down, and eat all the treats. This cat is a fat ass. He is like a big mischievous issue sometimes, and I never have had an issue with my cat in the slightest with that happening. And I'm not starving the damn thing. I feed my cat. I have to like feed them together, so I have more than enough food. I feed them like twice a day. This thing will it's a cat. It's technically a kitten. It's like probably around like 1 year old or so, but he will eat. He eats constantly. Oh, sorry. I'm just rambling about this damn cat. But all I will say, it's almost over. I'll have my peace back soon. Everybody's like, "Oh, it looks like you have a new cat. You have a new cat." I'm like, "No, I don't have a new cat. It's not my cat. I don't want a new cat. I'm telling you right now. I'm poor as is. I don't need an extra mouth to feed. Like, I don't want to be the crazy cat guy, you know? I just want my cat. I might get a dog soon, but I don't want more than one cat." I think that's fair, you know? It's not like I'm what's the word? Neglecting him. You know, it's not like I just forget he exists and everything. I put ointment in his eye and everything. But because he has like this, what do you call it? Chronic conjunctivitis. I think that's what it is. But his eyes will start like getting all this pus and stuff. It's really gross, dude. I have to clean it every single week. And every time I apply the ointment, he gets scared because, you know, you're putting something close to its eye, like the ointment, and he'll like start clawing at me. Like, dude, I got so many scratches on my hands. It's unbelievable. For a cat that I do not own. It's whatever. It'll pay off in the future, though. I'm just glad I got him the help he needs, because his owner couldn't afford the vet bill or the medication, so I had to foot the bill. And his eyes look so much better. He was such a happy cat after we got him that medication. Oh, god damn it. Let me see what this is. Crash. Okay, I have to go. I'll be back very shortly. I have to go to this fire call, but I'll be back later today.